the debris that was left over from all the mica mines. And so they just went through and discovered such things as diopside and a few garnets and a few starlights and whatever. There's one really funny thing about it. 6 of these sources relate to dog crossing. Does anybody know where dog crossing is? I know they have a book at it, the smack dab. But Tony, you don't live at dog crossing.
No, I don't live at dog crossing. I'm at Delray.
But they found they apparently there was some big dig at dog crossing, and the dog crossing, as I understand it, is about right over in here. Am I right? It's close to the
It's a
Lamar.
road leave from Rock going up in Pike County.
Yeah, that's was apparently there's an outcropping up in there. And by the way, I drew this red thing here just to show you where the rock is. The rock got its own share of granite over there, and I think that's why we call it the rock. Are there other questions on it?
How long do you think it set before it shifted, or what caused Africa to go home?
Africa has its own schedule. To tell you the truth, it's really a sort of a pendulum process, and this happens about every 200 million years, that it will exhaust its momentum here, and it will build up such a landmass that you have a heat that comes up underneath from radioactive minerals out in the Earth's core, including iron, by the way, and it will actually bulge up and flip over. And it's, you see what I mean? And right now it's making it swing up and pushing the Himalayas, pushing India and the Himalayan continent. Africa is actually swinging up more towards the underside of Europe. But what happens is, as soon as that momentum goes, the continents will sit there very quietly, and the heat will continue to bubble up there. And once it gets to a certain critical mass, they're going to move again. You buy that? I appreciate that. So make a note of that, Sarah. Wesley bought it. I see a hand.
You mentioned the minerals of Georgia as a text and the minerals of Upson County as a bulletin. Are your references available here in the
Yes,
archives?
absolutely. I want you to know. See Penny right there. And see, when Mr. Conquest died, his widow donated those to the Presbyterian Church. And I was given the privilege of going through and saying what goes in the archives and what goes in other historical areas, and I did that. So I put all of his in here. And in fact, I'm going to leave this. I never donated this big one, but I'm going to leave it. I'm through with it. Don, you ready to make your presentation? Yes, sir.
Would there be any downside to these minerals, particularly with uranium? Would there be any areas in Upson County where radon would be a problem?
I didn't do a radon check per se. I know that was a diggy a few years back. The funny thing about radium, it's almost, I say radium, uranium, it's almost ubiquitous. I mean, it's almost like the same distribution all over the country. You have to process 2 million tons of ore to get 1 gram of uranium. But the United States was desperate during the Cold War, and so we said, hey, we didn't want any pockets of it. And I'm sure everybody went with all over the place around, but I don't know of any specifics insofar as pockets of it in Upson. I'm sure those people that sell radon detectors, it sits under your house, boy. Other question? Yes, sir.
Where did the Flint River and the rocks called Flint, does that fit into this, red dirt or not?
Well, the Flint actually is an Indian name, of course. It comes from Flonatixahatchee, or Thronatixie, depending on whether you're Upper Creek or Lower Creek. It means place where flint is scattered about. Now, the reason flint is made is in an aquatic environment to begin with. And really, what happens here in Upson County, all of our dissolved silicon flows into Taylor County, or flows south of here. Back then, that was the ocean, don't forget, that came right up into this area. And so Flint is actually precipitated within nodules, you might say, very slowly, over millions of years. It's just one little sliver. That's why it is so easily concordal when you go to, why you make such good arrowhead, because you can flake it very easily. But it's mainly the flint came from far south of here. If you find an arrowhead made out of quartzite, it's most likely a local stone. But if you find one made of flint, it's most likely something they traded for down the river. And in fact, one thing that we discovered when DeSoto and all of his group came through Georgia and created such disruptions with measles, whooping cough, and all that, the flint trade dried up. So you start seeing more white quartz points showing up. Is that sort of the answer to what you would?
So you're saying there's no Flint in the Flint River in County?
Well, no, yeah, that's right. It's south of it. I can show you gigantic nodules down in Americus, Georgia, 60 miles from here, but insofar as the Flint itself, no. Okay. Are there others? Should we call a halt to this? Yeah. Did I leave any stone unturned?
That was very interesting. I think we need to give Jerry a standing ovation just for pronouncing those words. I would like to express to someone here tonight something that very seldom happens in life, in business, or anywhere in the universe. We have an archivist here named Penny Cliff. Penny Cliff has applied for 7 grants. Penny Cliff has received 7 grants. Now, when you apply to the federal government 7 times for grants to promote your community and promote history and promote Upson County, and you receive 7 grants, I think we should give her a hand. We would like to thank all of our visitors for coming. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Jerry is a very knowledgeable young man, because you cannot acquire all that knowledge in too many years, because you start forgetting it after a while, I'll assure you. There are applications in the back of the room. We would like to have you and you and you as a member of our society. Consider yourself dismissed and enjoy asking Jerry questions.